I did 100 cold approaches and learned what actually works for getting girls, starting with the fact that there is no pickup line that will get you success. When I was 17, I thought if I only knew the perfect thing to say, I would get girls. And when I was walking around school one day with my friend, I saw a really attractive girl in the library. She instantly caught my eye and I wanted to go talk to her. I told this to my friend and he was like, "So go do it." And then I instantly started getting negative racing thoughts. I started sweating in my armpits, my hands were getting clammy, I was getting red in the face even just thinking about it. And I started listing off excuses for why I couldn't do it. And this went on for the entire class period and I ended up never talking to her. But it doesn't have to be this complicated. See, this past summer in Sweden, I was at the club. I was coming back from getting a drink when I see this girl making eye contact with me, and I instantly saw this as my cue. I saw her sitting at a table with her 3 friends, so I grabbed a chair, pulled up the chair while making intense eye contact with her. I sat down, I smiled, I introduced myself, asked for her name, told her my name, introduced myself to her friends, and we had an amazing conversation. Her friends left, gave us some time to chat by ourselves, and it was really just that simple. All it took was a simple intro. There are 3 ways that you can start a conversation with girls that are super simple, and let's dive right into them. The first one is going to be simply asking her name. I like to usually use an "excuse me, what's your name?" But if you're already making direct eye contact with someone, you can just say, "What's your name?" It is genuinely that simple. The next one is going to be an environmental question. This is a question relating to her thoughts or opinions with anything within the vicinity, the environment that you're in. And I'll give you a one that I love to use all the time. So when I'm on the lines at bars and clubs, there's usually gonna be people in front of you, behind you. So I'll just say, what do you think about this bar or club, right? And then they'll start telling me, and then we can talk about other things, and I can ask their name and get into questions about herself. And before you knew it, you just smoothly entered a conversation, very low resistance. And if they don't want to talk, there's not too much of a sting from getting that rejection if you fear it. And the last one's going to be, we can just call it like a polite or charming disruption. This is usually if someone's doing some sort of activity, like if a group of girls or a girl is playing volleyball or pickleball, tanning, doing something on her own or with a group, and you want to introduce yourself to her, you can kind of just say something along the lines of like, "Excuse me, do you mind if I join you?" Or a question or statement that is obviously appropriate to whatever the activity that they're doing is. And it's genuinely that simple. You can see that all these kind of just follow a general suit of just kind of getting the conversation started with something that's very simple, very low resistance. There's no corny, cheesy pickup line. I just start talking to her like a normal human being, and this has allowed me to have success talking to hundreds, if not thousands of girls. This next lesson is an absolute game changer, and as soon as I learned this, I got over the fear of rejection. So all the way up until 20 years old, every time I would see a girl, I experienced that same issue when I was 17. I would get negative racing thoughts, I would start getting red in the face, clammy hands, sweaty armpits, and before you know it, I would chicken out every single time, and then I would be left with the feeling of regret, having not acted on the desire and impulse that I knew deep down was the right thing to do for myself. And this kind of led to like the loser's effect. It's the opposite of the winner's effect, where every time this happened, my confidence would diminish and diminish and diminish. And I kept feeling worse about myself. My self-image kept worsening. And overall, it was just digging myself a deeper and deeper grave. But over the last 3 years, every time I've seen an attractive girl that I wanted to talk to and I was physically able to do it, I have gone and done it, even if I was absolutely terrified. I cannot tell you the amount of times when I was first getting started with this, doing cold approaches in places that are a little bit scary for me, like the beach or by a pool or the gym back in the day. And I would be so nervous, but I would just still do it anyway. And every single time, I would leave feeling proud, even if I got rejected right off the bat. Even if the conversation didn't go more than 10, 20 seconds, I would feel so good about myself and I would feel pumped up because I did what I knew I wanted to do deep within. I acted on my desire and impulse in a positive way. I displayed courageousness, and at the end of the day, that is all that matters. So what you want to do is you want to reframe your mindset, understanding one, that rejection is better than regret. That is the first thing. And that 2, Every time you do something you're scared of, which obviously for a lot of you guys like myself, it's gonna be cold approaching, talking to girls, you are building the skill of courage, which is something that girls find very attractive and is also gonna help you succeed in life. You wouldn't see me here today if I hadn't developed this skill, and cold approaching was probably the number one way that I was able to do this. So you gotta understand that you are building the skill of courage every time you go and cold approach, and especially when you're scared. So those are the two things you need to reframe your mind to understand, and this will allow you to get over the fear of rejection instantly. And here's how you can learn to love the process, including the rejections, the breakups, and everything else that comes along with dating. So at 19 years old, I found myself in a relationship by chance, and I was absolutely clueless. I had no knowledge on dating, and I quickly got heartbroken, and this ended really badly for me. And I was really, really devastated because I was head over heels in love with this girl. And at this point, I never wanted to feel that way ever again in my life. So this is exactly what I did to change that. I started treating dating like a skill, like it was a game that I was gonna level up. I was playing this game of learning girls, learning dating, treating it like a skill. Because here's the thing, everyone understands that when you learn a new skill, you're gonna be shit at it. And when you adapt this mindset to dating, you're treating it the exact same way. So you take all the pressure off that you need to succeed with this cold approach, that you need to know how to text this girl. Everything just becomes part of the learning process, and you can apply this no matter what stage you're at. I sometimes even go back to this mindset nowadays after having had so much success. It is so powerful because pressure is the worst thing that you can apply on yourself when you're just getting started. You wouldn't go over to a piano and expect to just play beautiful melodies, would you? No, you'd be like, I'm kind of shit, I don't know anything. Let me just try, pressing a few buttons, maybe watch some YouTube videos, and you start figuring it out, and before you know it, and you're practicing daily, you start knowing how to play, and all of a sudden you're actually good. It's the same exact thing with dating. The fact that people expect to just be good at something that they've never really practiced. I mean, genuinely, if I ask you, how many girls have you talked to? Like new girls that you've never met before and you've just seen, how many have you walked up to and had a good conversation with? Probably not that many, especially if you're watching this video. So the thing is, I've had to do so many cold approaches. I've had to sleep with so many girls. I've had to have so many times where I've gotten close to sleeping with girls and had it messed up to learn so many lessons. Otherwise, I wouldn't have all this knowledge and be able to piece it all together and make it make sense to you guys and be able to teach it in a way that is actually helpful. So you need to do the exact same thing for yourself. You need to start treating dating like a skill that you're gonna just start slowly leveling up and not really getting attached to any one outcome that happens during the process. And this is how you're gonna have the same level of success that I've had, and you're gonna have the dating life of your dreams. So now, if you want to work with me one-on-one and you want to take this to the next level, then book a free coaching call down below. We're going to dive into your exact dating situation and give you tangible steps in order to improve and get to the dating life of your dreams. If that sounds of interest, make sure to book that in down below. I'm only taking on 3 new clients this month. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys in the next video.